Today I'm going to do a day of baking, and for Christmas this year I actually got myself a grain mill so I can grind my own flour, and a new mixer, which I'm really excited about. In this video I'm going to share with you guys all the benefits of milling your own flour because there's a ton. I'm gonna make one of my favorite loaves because I'm actually gonna be gifting it to a friend. I've been making a lot of different things. I made carrot cake for Alvin's birthday. I made homemade Cheez-It crackers. I've made sourdough bread. I've made regular loaf bread. I also made pasta for chicken noodle soup. So I've been making a lot of different things and it's all been turning out so incredibly delicious. I actually have water, milk, and butter in the microwave so that way it can like heat up and melt a little bit. For the bread I'm currently working on, I'm gonna be using a mixture of a hard white wheat. I have this from the Paulus brand from Amazon, but then I'm actually gonna be putting in a huge grain order for Azure Standard. I think the next drop is like in February. I had just missed the cutoff for this last one. So I'm gonna do a mixture of hard white wheat and then some kamut. The flavor of this is amazing. There are 40 out of 44 nutrients in fresh milled flour. Those nutrients will start dying within a few days of you freshly milling. So you wanna mill your grain and then make your bread pretty much right away. Crazy thing is that not only are you getting all those extra like vitamins and nutrients from the flour, but that this is a whole wheat product. Like these are whole wheat. And so the bread I'm gonna be making is literally 100% whole wheat, and it tastes absolutely phenomenal. Like the whole wheat products that you buy in the store taste disgusting. They taste like garbage, literally. And the breads and every product that I've made so far taste extremely good. Each grain is going to have like a different flavor profile. I really enjoy the kamut. It has a very like buttery, nutty flavor, I feel like. I also have hard red wheat, which has a more grassier, almost like slightly more whole wheat flavor, not even close though to like what the store is. And then I also have some spelt, and I have the soft white wheat, which is what you use for non-yeasted things. So we made like blueberry muffins and we used the soft white wheat. There's still many other grains I have not experimented with, but these are kind of like the top ones that I've been using and really enjoying so far. I have my 𝒌𝒂💏 mixer. I just got this for Christmas. It is very expensive. You definitely don't need something like this in order to start your fresh milled bread journey, but my KitchenAid was actually on its last leg. I've had it for many years and it just can't handle like breads and stuff anymore. I actually sold it and I got this as a Christmas gift for myself. So I'm gonna pour my milk and my water and my butter in the mixer here, and then I'm going to start milling my grains and my flour. I'm really excited about like starting this journey right before I'm getting pregnant and then throughout my pregnancy, because fresh milled flour has so much folate in it. So I'm very excited to like just see my health of myself and my baby like in my next pregnancy with eating the fresh milled flour. It also has tons of vitamin E, tons of fiber. So yeah, it's just really great and it's so delicious. Okay, we're gonna do 120 grams of kamut. The recipe I'm using, I'll link down below. This is the sandwich bread from Grains in Small Places. I really like a lot of her stuff. I'm gonna open my bag of hard white wheat. I actually already went through a whole bag of this. This one just came. This is what like the grains look like. 608 grams of the hard white wheat. So I have all my grains here. Those are all their nutrients. And I'm gonna turn on my grain mill. It is kind of loud, but I'm gonna turn on my grain mill and we're going to mill this flour. This is my mill. I have a Como Classic. I also made pasta for chicken noodle soup. So I've been making a lot of different things and it's all been turning out so incredibly delicious. Here's the flour. It's all freshly milled. Crazy, huh? I weighed out the sugar, the salt, and then 2 eggs also go into the bread since this is an enriched bread, so it's not just, you know, sourdough, flour, and salt. I do add extra salt though. I did it on accident one of the days and I actually preferred having a little bit more salt. It's actually 3 teaspoons instead of 2 1/3 teaspoon or something. So I'm going to pour pour all that in here. All right, we're just gonna do a quick mix with this and then we'll add the flour. Then I'm going to start adding the flour in and just doing also just a little mix. As you can see, it's all incorporated. It's just a wet dough, but we're actually going to sit and do something called autolyze, and that's going to let the flour and all the liquids soak up, because fresh milled flour definitely needs that time. I think like the minimum amount that I've seen people do is about 15 minutes, and then some people will like run to the store for like an hour or two. Since I put Alice down for a nap, I'm actually going to hop in the shower because I went to the gym this morning, and so I'm gonna let this autolyze while I quick take a shower. So it will probably be, I don't know, maybe 30 minutes or so, just because I'm also probably gonna eat lunch. So I'll eat lunch and take a shower. We'll just let this sit here and absorb all the liquid. Also, while it's sitting here, like we did not add the yeast yet. Right before we start kneading, so like after the autolyze is when we'll add the yeast. But the reason that we don't add it quite yet is because we don't want to have that like yeast timer going. You know, maybe you do run out to the store and you let this autolyze for 1 to 2 hours and then your yeast has already proofed. So we add the yeast right before we're actually gonna start kneading the bread. So once we add the yeast, we get to window pane, then we let it sit and proof. And then after that, we can shape it. I actually have a cast iron loaf pan. I have another one coming today, but this is the first time I love to switch to non-toxic things, and I just had regular non-stick pans, but since I'm making really good quality bread, I got rid of my non-stick pans and I'm moving to cast iron. A lot of people also use glass, but I just really love cast iron. So this is an 8.5 by 4.5, so the recipe I'm making is gonna make 2 of these, and I'm excited to see how that turns out. I also will be getting some cast iron muffin pans because the same, I got rid of my non-stick muffin pans, and so I'm very excited to change out some of my things to non-toxic things. Okay, I'm back to add the yeast. I took a quick shower, I ate some food, and I think it's been about probably like 30 minutes or so. So we're gonna add 3 teaspoons of yeast, and we're gonna start mixing this, or kneading it, I should say. This is just what it looks like. I'm gonna turn it on. Will start forming its own like dough ball. I'm actually gonna turn it up a little bit, and we can do this, mix it up. The nice thing about my mixer is it actually has a timer, so I'm gonna set it on 8 minutes, and then we'll come back and check. What I like to do is set this so that way it's pushing against the side of the bowl, and the more that this comes together into a dough, it will start pushing this out, and I know to pull it out a little bit more. We're just gonna mix it a little bit like this, and we'll come back in 8 minutes. Okay, it's been about 8 minutes. It just turned off. We're gonna get our hands wet and we're gonna see what the window pane looks like. So window pane means you want a stretchy dough, but you wanna be able to stretch and see light through it without it breaking. See how this just breaks? Definitely needs more minutes, but I mean, as you can see, it is stretchy. Just needs a little bit more time to form some gluten, and like, I'm not holding it in the correct position where my window is, but you would be able to like eventually see sunlight out of it. So I'm gonna put this on for about 4 more minutes, and then we'll come back and check again. Okay, timer just went off again. We're gonna see how this looks. Ooh, nice and stretchy. Oh, you see how you can like, look at that. That is window pane. So this is actually perfect. See how you can see the sunlight through it before it breaks? Look at that. That's awesome. So this is perfect. That was exactly 12 minutes. And so now I'm gonna take off like these and put the lid on. Take this off. Like I said, the fresh milled flour is a higher hydration dough compared to your normal dough. And look at that stretch. That's super nice. All right, so we're gonna actually, I'm just kind of putting this like towards the middle. And my mixer came with a lid. So I'm gonna put this on. We're gonna let it rise now for an hour or two. Okay, it's been about an hour and a half and my dough has been rising. I love that I can like have it rise like with the lid and this holder. So it's just about doubled. So I'm going to pull it out on the counter. We're gonna cut it in half and we're gonna shape it. And then my other pan has not come yet. I thought it was gonna come by the time the bread was ready. Might have to go up and grab one of the other loaf pans that I was like getting rid of. I'm gonna rub some butter on my cast iron because I hear that really prevents the bread from sticking. And you wanna make sure you get these top edges too, in case your bread kind of rises over the top. Our bread out onto the counter here. Now I'm gonna cut this in half, just eyeballing it. Pat this all out. Try and wrap it as tight as I can. We're gonna put it in this pan. So here's one in a regular pan. Put this, hold on, in our cast iron loaf, and we're gonna let it rise for another like 40 minutes or so. All right, the bread has been rising for about 40 minutes, and I preheated the oven at 350, so we're gonna throw this in the oven, and I believe it bakes for 40 or so minutes. I gotta check. I'm in the middle of prepping dinner and breakfast for tomorrow, but my bread just came out of the oven. I really love how it turned out in this cast iron loaf. I just feel like it rose and baked like a little bit nicer. I'll show you the other regular pan, but I just put some melted butter on it and then I'm gonna pull it out of the pan and let it cool off. Other one, so still very beautiful. It just is a little not uniform on this side. Still a very, very nice loaf. Bread! Alice wanted to say hi. Whenever I pull my camera out, she says, cheese! 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 You say hi?
Hi!
What's Mama doing?
Bread!
I made bread?
Chicken!
And chicken? Chicken's for dinner?
Cheese!
It does look like cheese. Those are hash browns. This is a sauce. And those are vegetables. What's that?
Bread!
Bread! I cooked it! Did I bake it? I baked bread. All right, that one is for summer.
Annie! Summer!
And that one's for summer. Don't touch it because it's very hot.
Annie!
Let's see how this works. Ooh, yeah, it just pops right out. Pops right out. Oh, yeah. No, it's hot.
Annie!
Yeah, that one's for Alice. Ooh, that looks so good. Yeah, that one's for Summer. That one's for Alice. Yummy. I love the shape of that one a lot. Shape, yeah. Looks so good. Looks good, yeah, good. Yeah, we gotta let it cool off first though. Here is a little bit of a close-up. Like, does that not look so delicious? And to think that that is 100% whole wheat flour, freshly milled. Oh man, it literally looks so good. I'm just here editing. I know it's like freezing cold in my house, so I'm all bundled up, but I'm finishing up this video. And when I was like cutting through the bread, it was right during dinner time. Alice had asked for like a piece of bread and everything. So I just quick got some footage, but hopefully from that footage, you could just see how light and airy and fluffy it is. I ended up gifting one of the loaves to one of my friends who had never had any fresh milled things before. Now she's like looking into possibly getting a mill or even me milling for her because it's just so incredibly good and she just wants to keep eating that bread, especially with like how healthy it is and how good it tastes. I'm telling you, it's better than any bread you've ever had. I will usually bake maybe like one day a week and make like loaves of bread, or I made hamburger buns the other day, and then we'll eat some of the bread like fresh that day. Alvin absolutely loves just sitting and eating like slices all night long. So he probably ate like a good like third of one of those loaves, and then we slice it and we put it in the freezer. That way we can easily like pull it out for breakfast time or sandwiches or whatever you would need. When I made the hamburger buns last week, it made like 8 or 12, I forget, but we used half of it for burgers that night, and then I froze the others, and I'm actually gonna have those tomorrow night for burgers again. So it is really nice because you don't have to like constantly bake. You can kind of, you know, mill all your grain one of the days and bake one of the days, and then you can have it frozen, and then that way you don't have to feel like you're constantly making all these things from scratch throughout the week. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video, and maybe I got you guys started on a fresh milled journey, or at least for you to do the research. Sue Becker is great with all the fresh milled information. I actually started listening to the podcast. I think it's called Sue's Healthy Minutes, and that's where I started learning a lot about fresh milled flour and all the health benefits, and she has tons of testimonials from all different people on there. So I highly recommend listening to that podcast if you want to like learn more information. That's one of the reasons why I decided to like invest in my equipment, because once I started learning more and hearing more about the testimonials, it just made a lot of sense for me to switch us all over to fresh milled flour and to not buy all the dead flour at the store anymore. I'm really happy that I made that decision, especially because I care a lot about like what Alice eats, and you know, just her being raised in a whole food approach. She is a really good eater. She loves eating protein and stuff, but if she were to go in one of those phases where, you know, they only want to eat carbs or breads or whatever, I would be 100% fine with it because of how nutrient dense it is. And we slather it with grass-fed butter for her. I really just love like knowing what's in my ingredients, making sure that I'm feeding my family like the healthiest that I can. So hopefully you guys enjoyed seeing me bake bread, and if you want to see more of this, I can do more baking videos in the future and show you how I make other things like the Cheez-It crackers or the hamburger buns, or I mean, there's so many things that I want to make. So lots of different opportunities in the future, but hopefully you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in another one soon. Bye.